Hello there, and welcome to Stonescast. I'm your host, Todd Morrill, and I will be taking you through a brief series, hopefully, of videos where, basically I've got a small business here in Colombia, South America, and I have to make a lot of choices about how do you set up a business, what's the cost of employees, what's the best way of opening up a business in the United States, and I just figured I would just record some of the things that I learned, and because then I can maybe remember it better because I have a very bad memory. Maybe somebody else will find it helpful. So anyway, let's see here. Today we're just going to talk about employees versus subcontractors and what's the economic cost associated with those two. So here we have three scenarios: three contractors making a gross salary of 2, 3, and 4 million. If they were independent contractors, their net take-home pay would be deducted by these three or four um, line items: health coverage, pension, ARP, and withholding tax. Now, withholding tax is something that you would pay if you're a SAS, and not something that you would pay necessarily if you're a persona natural, basically, which is like the equivalent of a sole prop. Presuming that you were doing under $120 million in revenue in the sole prop, 120 million pesos rather. So, you probably in most situations would be paying this withholding tax as well. So, here we have again, 4% health, 4% pension, 0.5% ARP. And this is something, if they were a subcontractor, that they would be paying themselves, and their take-home net would be the following amount. As you can read here, 1.8, 2.7, 3.6, based on these salaries. Now, so the question is, would it be better off if they were employees or contractors? And there's obviously there's different scenarios with how far you can how you can have more control of employees than you can of independent contractors. But we're not going to focus on the labor costs and benefits. We're going to focus on just the pure economics in this little video. So, economics, you would have to pay these line items: 90,000 or 4.5% for health, 8% for pension. These are basically government subsidies for the more economically challenged, 3% and 2%. This 4% caja de compensación. This is like access to parks and conforma and gyms and stuff. Basically, it's like recreational services that they get access to. This here, this 8.3%, this is cesantías, where you're basically prepaying into a fund for if they were to quit or get laid off, they would basically have an unemployment. They would have an unemployment. You would owe them some kind of unemployment, and you basically prepay that into this fund. And this 1% is also part of this cesantía account. You also have to pay 8.33%. You have to pay 8.33% to Prima, which is basically, I think this is really funny. It's basically like the Colombian government just doesn't trust the employees to save money for themselves. So for Christmas and when they go on vacation in June, you actually have to pay them extra money just so that they have money to pay for Christmas presents. So you pay them with this extra 8%, so they have money to give to their children for Christmas. And then on top of that, and that's not paid time off. That's what this is. This 4.17 vacaciones is you have to pay an extra 4% for paid time off. So your total cost on 2 million is 2.86. 3 million is 4.2, and 5.7 on the 4 million. If you do the math on that, just to show you guys, I'm not making it up. 2,866 over 2. That's 43% over the. So your cost is 43% over your base salary. So it's something to keep in mind. So you can. I recommend that you figure out and you talk to the guys. Hey, would you rather have these benefits or would you rather have a higher salary? And then how can you work with maybe trying to find out ways of giving people more flexible work options to bring that cost down, particularly when you're talking about these higher paying people more amounts of money. But the interesting thing is for the lower amounts of money, 2 million and less. And by the way, I'm going to provide a spreadsheet so you guys can fill in your own values and get these printouts. But for the lower salary people, you know, in the 2 million, or say like an 800, like let's say, you know, the 2 million, 3 million, 4 million peso. There's some ways to get that down. So in this next little scenario, what I've done is I've broken their salary into two parts: the base salary and commissions and bonuses. And so only the commissions and bonuses aren't taxed. So there's a cap on that at 1.1 million. So you can't give more than that. But you know, you can. So you get, you know, this is an interesting way of getting your tax down. So if you do this on a 2 million salary, you know, your total tax liability, your total cost is 2.3, which 2.35 over 2,000 is, you know, that's 17.5%. So that's significantly lower than 44%. And those numbers would get even lower if you were giving more like 1.5, 1.2 million peso salaries. You know, you're always going to have to pay the minimum wage, which I think is 600,000. So, you know, you can get your when you're paying people more than the 1.5, 1.2, you can get your tax cost down to maybe something more like in the 10% range using this commission and bonus structure. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to do a couple more, you know, and showing you guys about SaaS versus you know, sole prop, and the different benefits that you have for each. As I'm sort of paying for people to tell me about it, I'm going to just try to take that information and you know, make it clearer and make a little video about it. So, you know, this information was provided to me by Paula Cruz, who, you know, give her a lit's plug there. She's the one that prepared this for me. If you want to get more in depth with things, you know, she's the person to contact. She's very helpful, and you can see her email there, Paula D. Hopefully you can read that because I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not sure what that is. Paula and Ria Cruz, something like this, at gmail.com. So thank you guys very much, and take care. Peace.